Welcome to another Chad Rushing video. Try not to do this. The chair's so comfortable though. So we talked about spiritual science or scientific approach to spirituality yesterday, and I spent the rest of the day after I shot the video really thinking about, all right, how are we going to start this? And which specific technique are we going to try? We talked about the law of attraction, and it's hard to sum up, but it basically means you can manifest things if you've got the right vibration or whatever. And there are probably hundreds of techniques that are supposed to accomplish this. So I'm sorting through, and I thought I would use one that I was already familiar with, and it is from a method or a philosophy or a religion, whatever you want to call it, that supposedly comes from Hawaii. Max Freedom Long supposedly discovered this through interviewing, Hawaiian tribal shaman. And the idea is that you breathe, and he did it through breaking down Hawaiian words and finding this hidden meaning in the Hawaiian language and things they say. Honestly, as a meditation practice, I've found it extremely helpful. For one, you increase your lung capacity intensely, which is always good, especially in the middle of a pandemic. And then you get a peace of mind, and you start using the three parts of your brain, the subconscious, conscious, and superconscious, or the id, the ego, the superego, and you get them to start working in harmony. And the method is essentially you build up mana, or in Hindu religion or in Hindu tradition it would be prana. In Chinese and Japanese traditions it would be chi. So they call it mana, and the idea is you build up this mana through breathing, and you have they call it a prayer seed. So this fully fleshed out, envisioned idea of what it is you want, and then you give that energy and that prayer seed to your high self, and the high self does the stuff. And then your job at that point is to keep essentially watering that seed with your energy. So that's the technique I'm going to do. That was a brief overview of how that works. I'll tell you how to do it. So the first thing you want to do, of course, is visualize as strongly as you can, with every sense that you can, what it is you want. Whether it be a toaster or $1 million. And one of the theories in the law of attraction is that manifesting a penny and manifesting $1 million is the same thing. The only difference is your thoughts about it. I don't know. Maybe it's true. That's why we're doing this. So you have this fully fleshed out idea. Let's say a toaster, just because it's simple and easy and everybody can imagine a toaster. So you imagine holding the toaster. You imagine using the toaster. You imagine that happiness you would have from having this toaster that you've always wanted. You smell the toast. You feel the hot toast come out. Every sense that you can bite into that toast and go, wow, thank you for the toaster. Every sense you can possibly bring into this prayer seed, you want to put everything you've got and really experience it. So that's sort of the first step. The second step, and if you get into Huna, there's a lot of other stuff, but I'm giving you the basic technique here. So then you have this prayer seed. Then your next step is to build your chi, or your prana, or your mana, whatever you want to call it. And the way they do this is through a It's called the Ha breath. And I can't off the top of my head remember what all this, what they say it all means. Ha means breath. Now I'm actually remembering. Ha means breath. Ha means four. It means something else. Spirit or water or something. Yeah, water actually. I think Ha means water. Ha means breath. Ha means four in the Hawaiian language. So they say. I'm not a student of the Hawaiian language. I was a Serbian linguist. So anyways, so you would take, what you want to do is you sort of close your eyes and imagine you have a sort of fountain inside, okay, or a bowl or a pitcher or whatever container that helps you visualize this. And then you breathe in for 4 counts, you hold for 4 counts, you breathe out for 4 counts, and as deeply as you can, and then you hold your empty lungs for 4 counts. And you do this, believe it's 4 cycles of 4. And of course you can do it as long as you want. But you do it until you have this pitcher or this bowl or this fountain's full or overflowing. Then at the end of that, you send this prayer seed. At this point, you want to wrap this vision and put it into a sort of ball or a seed or whatever helps you visualize. You envelop it in some sort of protective light so that it doesn't change. And then you give it to your high self, and however you want to visualize your high self or your guardian angel or God or Jesus, whatever, it doesn't matter. You give it to them, and then you give this gift of all of this energy in your bowl or your pitcher. And you do this with thankfulness, like thank you that you're going to do this, or thank you that you already have done it, is one mindset that you should have. And then at this point, you're supposed to feel, it's called the, I can't remember what they call it, but you feel this sort of shower of blessings upon you. So that is the first method. That is what I'm going to be trying, maybe for a week. I do need to decide what I want. I don't really fixate on things or money very much. So my job at this point is to decide something that I can make a prayer seed for. And then, oh, and another thing is sort of pray in a closet is this mentality where you don't really tell people what you're trying to manifest. Other people's thoughts about what you're doing can influence it. To me, that is a sort of a red flag, because it's easy to go, well, you told so-and-so and their thoughts made it not work, okay? So if it's a law, it's gonna work every time, right? What I find a lot in a lot of spiritual circles is, well, you didn't do it right. Which, to an extent, if I throw a bunch of ingredients together and I don't get a loaf of bread, well, I probably didn't do it right. There is a level of, yeah, you have to do it right. But I feel like there's a lot of room that they can go, well, you didn't do it right. You know what I mean? Pretty much, if you mix flour, water, yeast, and salt, you're gonna get bread, in some form or other. So mixing these ingredients, this technique, I should get some form of bread, so to speak. It might not be the prettiest bread, but it's still gonna work to an extent. So what I'll do, I'm going to figure out what I want. I'm gonna write it down and put it in an envelope. And then, I don't know, every day for a week. Let's try a week. And there's another one. There's no clear cut, if you're making bread, it's, depending on what kind of bread you're making, but, 400 degrees for 25 minutes, that's how long it is, when you're baking it. So, I don't know. Let's see what happens. Chad Rushing, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you next video.